What's the most amount of money you've made in 1 month?
635K.
What the fuck? Wait, I didn't know this. Have you ever said this online?
I don't think so.
What's the most amount you've made in a year?
It's 5.5.
Everybody wants to know, how the heck are you doing that with 100,000 followers? People can't do that with millions of followers. Because according to you, you don't have an OnlyFans and you don't have daddy's money. So what happened in between that time frame? Break it down.
I'll have people ask me endless questions about what time should I post, what hashtag should I use. And the issue is, I truly believe that when you stay in that zone, then you can make a lot of money without a lot of stress. To be honest, like, it actually doesn't need to be that hard. But usually on a multi-six-figure contract, a client pays it over a time period. Okay? These clients are different. They pay up front.
All right, here we go. We got Lauren. I'm super excited to have you here. Today we're going to be asking female millionaires how they got rich, because I think it's going to inspire a ton of females, if not for 2024, 2025, because I delayed this video for so long, like an idiot. So thank you for being here. But I want to ask you, let's start off with the juiciest question first. What's the most amount of money you've made in 1 month?
$635K.
What the fuck? Wait, I didn't know this. Have you ever said this online?
I don't think so.
Let's go! We started off with the juiciest question. Tell me what happened. How did you do 635,000? That's an insane amount of money in 1 month.
This was a crazy time. Remember the bull market in 21 with a lot of blockchain, crypto, Web3 projects taking off? So I was in the hub of all of it, living in Dubai. And people noticed that I had a social media agency, but I was fully focused on personal brands.
Yes.
And these people who were running these crypto projects, they would say, hey, can you run my social? Like, we need to get this launched really quickly. So I literally thought of the biggest numbers that I could, like multi-six-figure contracts. But usually on a multi-six-figure contract, a client pays it over a time period. Okay.
Yeah.
These clients are different. They pay it up front. So I took advantage of that, and
Wow.
I worked with some really awesome crypto projects, and that was a very short-lived period though. Like, that's not a normal month for me, but that was one time, and it was very interesting. It was intense, but it was not really that much more difficult than having like a 100K month. Honestly, it was somewhat easier because I had so much extra cash to hire great people to do it for me. So it was pretty interesting.
Okay. So what was your sales process? And I'm curious, what were your, I have a funny kind of story with this too, a little bit in the Web3 market, but I want to know from your perspective, like, what started when you were closing these clients? Was the percentage of close rate like significantly higher? Were the closing much easier also? And what was your method for outreaching and getting all of these clients? Was it just like word of mouth? Was it, yeah.
Dude, it was fully inbound. Like, they literally, okay, so there was 4 of these people. One of them messaged me on Instagram, and then the others I had met at events in Dubai. So it had been physically in person. And I do think there is something to be said for the in-person stuff when it comes to those bigger contracts. But I don't think it's necessary. Like, one of the guys, he literally replied to one of my Instagram stories with like, ha ha ha, love this beach or something. It was something super random. I could try and find it somewhere, and I can send it to you. And then literally within days, he had wired 6 figures into the crypto wallet.
Jesus. So when
it was so easy.
Okay,
No,
so
they
just
didn't. Yeah.
so okay, love this beach. Make the connection for us. Love this beach to 600 grand wired. Something happened in the middle because according to you, you don't have an OnlyFans and you don't have daddy's money. So what happened in between that time frame? Break it down.
So I have setters in my DMs who speak with people all day long. Sometimes it's me.
Yeah.
And by chance, I actually caught this one. And so this guy said something random. And then I basically replied to it, like with an open ended question, asking him, why is he following me? Like, what's he trying to do? And then he told me about his project. And then he said, actually, we're interested in social media marketing. And then I said, okay, what do you guys need? And then he essentially told me, he told me his budget. And then I thought in my head, it sparked the idea, maybe I could do some of this. So I picked the highest number I possibly could. And it was all actually in Telegram. Like we moved the convo from Instagram to Telegram. And I was just Telegram messaging with him and his assistant. And then I closed the deal. There was no call, no nothing. It was very simple.
Interesting. Okay. And what was your kind of offer to him? Like, we're going to do social media for you. And then,
Correct.
roughly how much you said multi six figures. Are you talking like, 150, 200,000? Or are you talking like 400,000? Like, what was the ballpark range of that one deal for you?
This one specifically was 200K in USDT. And then there was also another 200K in tokens, which then I could sell them whenever I wanted to. So I could
Yeah,
ride the market or sell them right at the token generating event.
that's crazy. Yeah, that market was absolutely insane.
That
Things
was
were going,
crazy.
it's crazy. That year was the year where I almost felt like it felt like I robbed the fucking bank. That's what 2021 or 2022, whatever year it was like going crazy, it felt like that. I'm like, oh my God. It felt like the difficulty of making money instead of like 10 out of 10 was like a
Yeah.
3 or a 5 out of 10. Uh,
I feel that that's so true, but I actually think that you can constantly live in that feeling where it feels easy to make money. And the reason being is I think many people make it harder for themselves than it needs to be because they focus on, like, let's say level one problems, not like level 10 problems, right? So if
Interesting.
you're majoring in the minors, let's say, then
Hmm.
of course things are going to feel really difficult because things can get really, really broad really quickly. So with me, for
Yes.
example, and you probably have this too with your
Mhm.
clients, but I'll have people ask me endless questions about what time should I post, what hashtag should I use. And the issue is they don't even know who they're speaking to on social media. Their messaging sucks, their content, like they can't even speak on video. So they're majoring in the minors. And I think if you're constantly focusing on small problems like that, then of course things always feel challenging. And actually for me in 2021, it really inspired me to think, wow, this was like the easiest thing ever. Am I just playing in the wrong game? Am I
Mm,
playing in the wrong world? And so I started to look and identify how can I just constantly be doing the things that feel easy to me but feel hard for other people. And
yeah,
I
interesting.
truly believe that when you stay in that zone, then you can make a lot of money without a lot of stress. So it's just something that, yeah, since then I was like really thinking about a lot because, to be honest, like it actually doesn't need to be that hard. And yeah, so that's just kind of like I totally agree with what you're saying because, you know, dude, it was the craziest time. Like I've ne- actually I shouldn't. I'll tell you that offline. I'll tell you
Okay.
it.
Okay.
It was.
I'll
I have
I'll
the
make a
craziest. Yeah, yeah,
I'll make
yeah.
a
I,
note of
I, I
it.
have the craziest story. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, offline. Now, one thing I want to preface it for everybody because I think this is going to be really important for people to understand. It's going to be mind blowing for me too, but I just want to make sure I have all of the stuff right. So, can you tell me breakdown of your revenue? What percentage of it comes from Instagram, and
Mhm.
what percentage of it comes off of Instagram? Because from what I know, Instagram is your main platform. I could be wrong. Maybe that's changed. But can you tell me like what percentage of your revenue has come from like different sources?
So 35% came from LinkedIn, 40-ish% came from Instagram, and then the rest came from a mix between email and paid.
Email and paid. And then, just give us ballpark of, like one of these years where you say 35% came from LinkedIn and 40% came from Instagram. Can you give us like in the year how much revenue you guys made in that entire year, just so we can understand like how much 35% and 40% might be roughly?
Yeah, yeah. So like actually this was just more recently.
Hmm.
Historically though, a lot more revenue came primarily from Instagram, but I wanted to reduce single channel risk so that I wasn't just primarily relying on Insta. So I really focused on building out Facebook and LinkedIn this year specifically, and also turning on ads to like really ramp up the number of phone numbers and email lists that we have.
Yeah.
Um, but for example, like in what year are we in? In like
2024. It's crazy.
yeah, in both 2022 and 2023, we collected in cash at least 1.1 million directly from Instagram. So in 23, I think it was roughly 1.4, and then in 22, it was roughly 1.4, and then in 23, it was roughly 1.1.
Okay. And that it does not include.
22, 23. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that doesn't include the crypto stuff. Like that was in 21.
Got it.
And that was just a bit rogue and
And
random.
when you say 1.1 million in cash, that was 2023, 2024. Which year was that?
23, 23. Sorry, I'm getting
23.
confused with what year it is right now.
That's
So
okay.
basically, the first year was 20 in 2022,
Hmm.
it was 1.4.
Hmm.
In 2023, it was 1.1. Yeah, there we go.
Okay. And
We took it
then, and
down a bit.
this 1.1 is from just Instagram, or is it from all of your sources? Like, I'm
No,
not
no,
talking about like crypto or anything like that. I'm talking about like,
no, that's just Instagram. Yeah.
okay. And, and then one question I just want to ask, because this would be good to know just in general, like, because I asked you what's the most amount you've made in a month. What's the most amount you've made in a year, in any year, like total across all channels?
Um, so if we just talk like the USD figure, because I think the crypto
USD.
tokens like can be misleading,
Uh huh.
um, it's 5.5.
Okay. 5.5. Um, And so one thing that's crazy to me, like $5.5 million is absolutely insane to do in 1 year. Like, holy shit. Can you talk to us? Like, because oftentimes people look at it, right? And it's like people have a belief that you need millions of subscribers, millions of followers. Your Instagram, and you say that majority of your money came from Instagram. Um, and now you're starting to diversify it. And now it's almost going like Instagram and LinkedIn is kind of neck to neck.
Mhm.
You have 127,000 followers Instagram, but you're making like, 1 million, like multiple seven figures per year. How are you doing this? I know everybody probably asks you this question, but because it's everybody wants to know, how the heck are you doing that with 100,000 followers? People can't do that with millions of followers.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I had a call with a guy that has 10 million subscribers on YouTube, and he was making between 5 and 7K per month. Crazy. We actually we have a lot of clients who are pretty big like influencers who come to us for the monetization side of things. So like I've thought about this a lot, of course, because this is the world that I play in. And my answer previously would have been, well, the way that I can generate decent revenue is because I have a solid thing that I'm selling. But like the more that I've thought about it and reflected on my journey and the different things that I've sold over the time, because my background was fitness and then I shifted in towards personal branding, social media, etc. Like I actually believe that the stronger your personal brand, the weaker the offer that you need to have is. And you'll notice people that spend a lot of money on ads, they have to have like a big, bold claim. Like they'll say things like, I'll help you get 5 bajillion leads in 24 hours or you don't pay. And they don't, then you go to their socials and they don't really have a social media presence. And what I've identified is that if you have a really great personal brand, whereby people are bought in on your story, they relate to you, they trust you, and they see you as an authority, then the offer doesn't need to be as strong. And so candidly, like I've been doing this now for 10 years, and I really just think that it's compounding because for the first 3 years I barely made a penny. I didn't focus on sales. I built an audience, and I still have people that started following me back then who are following me today, who buy my stuff today. So, as much as I would love to say there's like a magic formula to this, I genuinely do just think it's about knowing who you're speaking to them in a really, really great way over a consistent period of time, and studying content and investing in your content to the point where you have really great stuff that people consume. Because the key here is consumption. Like the more time people spend with you, the more they're gonna like you, the more they're gonna relate to you. And I could get into like all the tactics and the nitty gritty, right? But ultimately, I truly believe that like the key is the personal brand. especially going into 25, 26, 27, etc. Like those years, I think this is going to become even stronger. And we're seeing this, right? Like even with the biggest guys in the world, it's not the companies right now that you hear about in the news anymore, right? It's the
Hmm.
people. And I see this huge shift. And I think it's just because people are trusting in corporations less and less. And they're trusting in people more and more. Whether we like it or not, it's just a fact. And if you try to fight against the facts, then I think that's when you're not going to come out on top.
Right. You're really not. With these personal brands that you've worked with, you say personal brands, but one thought that I had was the person who had 10 million subscribers. Doesn't
Mhm.
that person have a brand? And then why is that, if that person has 10 million subscribers, why are they struggling? Because that to me seems like, holy crap, that's such a crazy brand to have if you get to 10 million subs.
So I think this is where like if you're sharing entertainment content, I think it's really challenging. So he shares that entertainment content. And when you just share entertainment content, people are coming there to get entertained. So if you want to monetize, then you need to think about what do people buy if they're into that. So for him, for example, like he would do really good with having shows, right? Like physical in-person shows or virtual events, etc. But he doesn't want to do that. So what are we going to do, right? If you want to teach something that's totally different than what you know, then it's going to take a longer period of time because you're going to have to build like an education brand. And I think it really
Yeah.
comes down to being seen as an authority in a space, not being seen as like an entertainer in a space, right? And like, of course, you can entertain and educate in the same moment. But for example, like we don't work with clients who don't have legit authority. So if they can't, like, for example, how many subscribers do you have on YouTube again?
1.4, 1.5
Okay, so like if
million.
you were to then start making content about how to grow on YouTube, right? Like
Yeah.
which I know you've spoken about, you can easily say, I've grown in my own YouTube channel to like 1.5 million subscribers, right? It's
Yeah.
tangible, there's evidence, you have authority there, you know all the hacks, all the tactics, etc. Like I
Yeah.
have also a client who does exactly this, right? And he essentially he's grown, even though he's grown a channel in like the kids entertainment space, he has simultaneously built a brand around how to actually build a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And so, because he's then able to show his channel as evidence of it, he's building his personal brand in that world. And so, I think it's
Mm.
about like ensuring that you have the personal brand that is seen as an authority in some way. Because if you can't actually claim something or
Hmm.
show or say something that you've done, you're
Hmm.
going to really struggle, in my opinion, because there's just a lot of people out there who are making content based on their, maybe current learnings, right? But they're not like significantly further ahead. And I always hear this like tale, which is like, you only just need to be a couple steps ahead of the people that you want to serve. And I used to agree with that, but I don't anymore. I actually think that there's a lot of risk in that because, for example, like if you're helping someone scale their business to, I don't know, let's say 20K per month, right? And you're only at 30K per month, like I'm telling you, there's a lot of additional problems that are coming, which like that person isn't seeing and that they don't have the context for because they're not significantly further ahead. And so,
Yep.
like, through mentors that I've worked with and coaching that I've had, and just, again, I've only been doing this like 10 years. It's not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but I've just seen that, like, having someone who's like significantly further ahead than you, who can like look back and connect the dots, it's very, very valuable because they have way more context. And I think context
Yeah.
is extremely, extremely key when it comes to sharing information on the internet. Otherwise, it's just like blanket statements that just don't apply. And people can take that stuff like way too literally. So, to answer your question and come full circle, um, I think really it's about like building a targeted personal brand towards the thing
Mhm.
that you're looking to sell.
Got it. That makes sense. A lot of even our content that's working for selling our software right now, it's funny because there's some content that I have made that's gotten 100,000 views. Nas, my
Mhm.
co-founder, has made that's got 1 million views. And we get like 2 fucking sales on that, 3 sales on that. And so we're just like, this sucks. Like we're screwed. And um, we then had this one girl make one TikTok, and she um, like she doesn't have a big following actually. She had 30,000 followers. And that one TikTok ended up making us like 100 to $150,000 or something like that. Um, And that was absolutely insane. We're like, what the hell happened? And it got like 1 million views, 1.5 million views. And the CPM of it or whatever, when you calculate it, is nuts. Like most YouTube, CPMs for even good podcasts, $1, $5. CPM on this was like $100 because so many of the
Crazy.
people were converting. And to your point, it was because she's got, in totality, we had gotten way more views than her one video, but it was like the specificity of her content that really converted. And I noticed that about your content too, where you don't, like, of course, to some point, to some extent, everybody cares about some amount of views, because if you get 0 views, well, then that's also not good. But your content is very specific, and there have been times where like I've resonated with it, and it feels like people resonate with your content a lot because of that. One thing I want to ask you is, I want to get also into a little bit of tactics. So when you shared that you're closing some of these clients, are they coming from, where is majority of your selling happening, right? For my brand, majority of the selling is happening from like literally they view the content, no DMs, nothing. They just go to Google. It's like a crazy frenzy. Like they're just toppling over one another, running over each other, and they're just like, oh my God, I got to buy this product. And then they're like buying. And that never happened for me before. Before, like the way I sold it was different, email list or whatever. But right now it's like content, then they go buy. And if that doesn't work, then that's just kind of it. It's like, oh, well, the video just didn't work. For you, are they buying from the content? Are they buying because of your stories, the DMs? Like, what's your process specifically look like?
Yeah, so you've definitely found product market fit. Like that's awesome because that's like the best feeling in the world. When you have that like one angle or that mechanism that people are just like desperate for.
Yeah.
I swear, like this is like the heroin for founders, right? Like when you
It
finally
only
get
worked
the product.
once. It only worked. I mean, it only worked like a few times. It hasn't
Okay.
worked it hasn't been as repeatable yet. But yes, you're right. It's like heroin. When that happened, I was like, oh my God, nuts. We couldn't sleep at night. We couldn't still. We're like, what the fuck is happening? Anyways, keep going. I'll listen.
You guys have to like recreate that video, get like different actors in, get more
We
like
are.
different people of different ages and like ethnicities. Recreate that shit.
We
Like it clearly works. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's actually one thing that I do. Like I have a couple recent posts in the last month or so on LinkedIn that have between 5 and 8 million views, and I'm just recreating that again and again and again, and it's so interesting. I found this one hook that whenever I post it, I get at least 1.5 million views. So crazy on LinkedIn. Yeah. And so while you say I don't care about views, I don't care about views from the wrong people. And interestingly enough, I know you see my IG content. On Instagram, I go with a very middle of the funnel strategy. And
Mhm.
what that means by middle of the funnel is like I'm already speaking as though people know who I am, okay? Because they do, because they're already following me. Whereas on the other platforms, I go for a top of the funnel strategy. And what I mean by that is I'm speaking only to strangers and I'm acting like no one has a clue who I am. Because I haven't actually tried to grow my Instagram for the last, honestly, like the last 5 or 6 years. I just haven't tried because I've not had an issue with enough leads. Like I just still haven't somehow. It's great. Like that is crazy to me. That shows how many people are there in 100K followers. Like, that 1000 True Fans by Kevin Kelly, like that old classic that everyone references
Yeah.
back to. Honestly, that, and maybe nowadays it's more like 10,000, but I'm telling you, this is so true because I see the same people buy stuff again and again and again. It's really fascinating. But to your question, how do they buy? Okay. So we have like a few different ways of getting people to buy stuff because I like to test things constantly to try and improve and iterate. And so I'll tell you what's working like really, really well right now. There are two things specifically. Okay. The first is the same as always, right? It's just very simple. You post content and then people who resonate with it, they start stalking you. And as long as you have like the right content strategically placed on your profiles as they're scrolling through, they'll find a offer that they like. And then they'll take the action, whether it's to comment or to DM or to click the link in the bio, right? So
Mhm.
I don't see social media as like the one individual post and then that gets them to take an action. I look at it more of as an ecosystem. So we'll
Mm,
have top of the funnel content where we're speaking to strangers, we get them in, and then you have middle of the funnel content that gets people to take an action to get a freebie. Like I did a banger yesterday. Like I literally posted this thing, and I'll tell you exactly what it says because maybe this isn't timely or whatever, but I'll
that's
tell you
fine.
what the post is just because I think it's
You
it's
can
really
you can
cool to know.
also
So
you can also screen share too if you wanted to, or if
okay, let's do it. So I just posted it on like the personal Facebook, right? Just because, I wanted to test it out. And it
Mhm.
just says, I'm not running a Black Friday sale. Instead, get 25 social media templates free. Found a used one and make 27.5K in 5 days. Want it? And this is personal Facebook. I mean, who the hell uses personal Facebook these days, right? But I got like 94 comments. And it was
Holy
really crazy. Like it
shit.
just happened so fast. But
Wait, go
the
go back
main
to it.
thing is
Go
that,
go back to the post. I'm trying to screenshot it desperately. There we
okay.
go. There you go. Done.
Yeah,
Done.
but I recommend doing this like right now. But like I don't know if
Uh-huh.
I'm allowed to like share inside of the DMs. Maybe we can just like blank it out. But the craziest thing
Uh-huh.
is that most people actually sent a message, right? Because I made a comment on the post saying, if you message me, I'll get it over to you faster. So we have even more in the DMs here. Look at that. It's craziness. They're all sending that email.
Damn.
And so I did that one, and then I posted that on Instagram too. That's like a middle of the funnel style of content. And so I have some on my Instagram, on my LinkedIn that are
Hmm.
placed there that when people find me for the first time, as they start to scroll my profile, they'll find one of these. And if they like that, they'll comment, they'll message, they'll opt in. And then finally, bottom of the funnel content is like, it's an offer, right? So, for example, like for a limited time only, sign up to Poppy and get 25% off or something like this. Like for me,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily do like
Do
discounts like
discounts.
that, but it would be something along the lines of like, are you finally ready to take your social media seriously? Like, get one on one coaching from me, blah, 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 whatever it happens to be. Or
Yeah.
like, we have one spot open on our agency where we'll run your social media for you and get you 10 to 20 additional qualified leads a week, right? Message
Mhm.
me info and let's chat to see if it's a fit. Like that would be a bottom of the funnel. So my
Yeah.
point is content goes to an ecosystem. We call it a social media profit engine. And people
Yeah.
then, as they scroll, and even as you post, they'll find something that they like and they'll take the relevant action or not if they don't like it. So that's one
Yeah.
way.
Hmm.
And then the second thing that we started doing lately that's crushing it for us
Yeah.
is we either run ads or we offer it to our organic audience is like a low ticket product. So a product that's below $100, we sell that on the front end and then it takes them into a funnel and then there's an order bump in the checkout which they can tick the box and get something extra for like $27 to $47, and then on the next page we'll sell them something else, and on the next page we'll sell them something else, next page one more thing, and then finally at the end, we invite them to book a call. And so we're
Yeah.
getting about seven people at the end of that funnel booking a call, which is really good. Like industry average
Interesting.
is about 3%. And ultimately from there, that call is like a 15-minute call with somebody from my team. They'll qualify them to see if they're a good fit to actually work with us like hands-on. And then from there, it will get passed through into a sales call. So we sell
Got
our
it.
high ticket mainly on sales calls. And then we have this other stuff going on, which I kind of just shared with you.
And what's the average customer value? Like when you pitch this high ticket, I imagine most of the revenue comes from high ticket. Um,
Yeah.
and
Well, interestingly enough, though, like in the last couple of months, so it's not like a crazy amount, but like for us, what's been interesting is like the low ticket buyers are actually like the ones who are mainly now converting into high ticket. So they'll buy something. The average order value right now for us is $79 on
uh-huh.
like the low ticket funnels.
Uh-huh.
Um, and if you don't include the high ticket upsells obviously, and then basically that's really cool because it means that like actually on average like our KPI is a $60 acquisition, so we're even profitable
Oh.
$19 on the front end. Yeah, which is like
Ah, getting
insane.
customers
So
for more than free. Even if you got them for free, that would be amazing. But you're getting paid
this
to
is
get customers right now.
crazy,
That's insane.
right? Like I don't think it's gonna last honestly because like it's like
Facebook ads is
and also
always like it's always like a battle right against time and like market pressure and
100%.
shit. It's like always going low and low. But like you, if you can milk it as much as you can in the meantime, like that's amazing.
Exactly. And like the market always gets better. So if you don't, then
Yes.
you're basically screwed. So you have to just always get better too, like better than how they're getting better. And it's kind of fun, right? Like I love this game. But
Yeah.
so that's cool. But I have to say, like, I am an organic social person, right? So I'm a little nervous to like start ramping up the ad spend there. I'm not gonna lie because I've heard horror stories from friends who spend a ton of money on ads and then like they'll like get profitable like we are on the front end, but then they'll start getting like refunds, right? Because these are people from
Yeah,
ads and they don't have the relationship like the organic audience does. So I'm
that's
like,
true.
okay, let's just keep it relatively small for now. At the moment, we're spending somewhere between 7 to 8K per month on ads, so it's nothing crazy.
That's not
But
bad. Yeah.
I'm a little nervous to ramp it up. That's just a side note.
Yeah.
Um, but I so sorry, your original question was essentially asking like, most of the revenue, does it come from high ticket? And I know you asked something else.
Yeah, and I think I also would want to know how much is the high ticket that you sell. And I asked, does most of it come from high ticket, and how much also is the high ticket?
Yeah. So essentially, right now, the price that we're charging is 16K for the
Uh-huh.
high ticket, or we do also have like a one-on-one service whereby it's a done with you service directly with me and like
Mhm.
my social media like main assistant on there.
Yeah.
That one is between 10 and 15K per month, depending upon how much
Wow.
they want. And then finally, we also do have like a done for you service whereby we do it for like bigger companies. And so with that, typically the average value is somewhere between 25 to 45K per month, depending upon how many on their team that we're running it for. So when I say about those like bigger months, obviously these bigger clients help supplement that, right?
Got
Because
it.
also we offer them a discount if they pay more of it up front. And so in some of those big months that I've had, it's been when they have paid more up front and we'll offer a small discount to,
And can you
incentivize cash collect.
can you clarify what you meant? So you said 10K, but then you said something about 20 to 45K. And so is it almost like a B2B type of deal where you close it for a client and then I didn't understand like what's happening there.
So let's just say like a B2B SaaS, right? Wants like three of their founders to have their personal brands done for them.
Ah, got it. Okay.
Correct. So
Interesting.
then we would write the content, we would like figure out exactly what's gonna get the most virality for them, what's actually gonna get leads. We'd figure out the sales
That's
journey for them, and
sick.
we would just run it all for them.
I have something amazing. I have an amazing idea actually, and I'll write it down. Um,
We're gonna make some money together.
yeah, I'm so excited. Okay, so, anyways, so wait, I lost my train of thought. So you're running this. Oh, okay. I remember now. So you're running this offer for clients, and how many of these like above 10K or 10K plus offers are you on average selling per month, like roughly?
Well, typically it's like 20 to 25.
Okay. Wow. That's amazing. So that, even though it doesn't sound easy and it seems like you have like a crazy skill, it makes it seem like you're not dealing with like 25,000 clients per month. It's like you're dealing with
Oh
20 to
my
25
gosh,
clients.
hell no. Well,
Yeah.
we have hundreds of low ticket customers every month.
Right.
And to be honest, like I used to find that low ticket customers were like asking annoying questions and everything, but I just don't think that that's that true like it used to be. So don't
Mhm.
get me wrong, like I have had some weird experiences where like someone didn't get their login within 5 minutes and they said, "Hey, like respectfully, I didn't get my email within 5 minutes, so can you give me a refund?" Like my
Yeah.
support team were just like, "Yes, please, like take your money back."
Yeah.
But I think with good automations,
Hmm.
like solid, like dialed in. And I have one girl on my team who's just all over it. Like if there's a support, she's on it rapidly because we
That's
want to just
amazing.
fix the problem straight away. I've actually found that like it hasn't been that crazy to manage the low ticket customers. Like it's actually pretty simple. I think
Uh-huh.
the place where people go wrong is where they try and sell a bunch of different random shit. And then
Uh-huh.
there's like all these automations flying in all these directions, like all these zaps and makes, and it's just like mayhem. Whereas we just all keep everything like relatively similar. And then if someone's upset, like we just refund them, like, please just take your money back.
Yeah. That's smart. I love that. I always find your posts really funny about you have a lot of content around these low ticket clients and the stuff that they'll say. And there was something I was laughing my ass off like a few weeks ago or something. I saw it and I was laughing my ass off at it because it it would happen to me a lot especially when I was doing the clever programmer, like coding bootcamp stuff, it would be the
Yeah.
dude who gets into like he wants to join our 10K program, but he's only down to put $20 a month, and the most he can deposit right now is $5. And my team is like, fuck it, we'll take it. Like, let's
Oh
go.
no.
Like a 20-year payment plan. That's until we discovered that there are things like buy now, pay later options, which are amazing. Like
Amazing.
I started using Klarna and like Affirm for high ticket. We're not doing it anymore because we're not selling high ticket anymore. But like when I was doing it, it was crazy because Klarna, like they pressed 3 buttons. We just walked them through the process. It's like, okay, yeah, 10K sounds like a lot, but like, can you pay $80 per month? And they're like, yeah. And then I'm like, okay, here are a couple of buttons. Like, let's just press them. And then they're like, do it. And then we just get like 5,000 cash up front. And then they're paying $80 a month. So they're not tripping. That was insane when we discovered that, because we used to have these other payment processors and those were just a pain in the ass. Like there's Coaching Loan and some other ones. It would be so much work. And Klarna and Affirm were just instant, like 10K, 12K. Do you use buy now, pay later options, or is it just business owners and they're like, fuck it, take my money?
Honestly, we like I really was tempted to launch like a B2C offer just to take advantage of it, but no, like we don't really deal with people on that level. I have to say, like most of our
Uh-huh.
clients are more sophisticated and they have like the cash or the money like from their business revenue. So no, but it's insane. A lot of my clients use it though, and it blows my mind that this is even a thing. Like I it's crazy. It's so cool though. Yeah.
That's
Maybe
awesome.
I'm out of touch.
No. That's good. If they don't need it, then that's good. Just makes your life simpler. Um, I know.
But my point, I'll just say one thing on that. Like, I think you nailed it. Like it's the people that want to be the high ticket client that just like can't get resourceful to do it. Those are the clients that I'm talking about in those posts. Like the people that buy like a $67 or like a $97 ticket for something or a low ticket, they're actually like really good customers, interestingly. And I think it
Interesting.
comes down though to your messaging and not making like crazy promises. Because if you, it's all about the expectations management, right? Like
Expectations. Yeah, interesting.
if you promise them, I'm going to give you all this stuff for like $10, and then obviously because it's low ticket, they don't get it, then that's when they're pissed.
That's a good point. And then that's where the personal brand comes in, right? Because if you don't make the big bold promise, well, nobody ain't gonna buy anything because they're gonna be like, well, this other guy just said he can revive my dead relative. And you're like, well, I can't compete with that. And so your promise has to get bigger. But if you have a personal brand, then you got the trust. I've liked a bunch of your posts on your funny jokes, and then you're on a beach, and I'm like, love the beach. And then next thing you know, I'm wiring 7 figures. Oh man, that's great. Um,
I've never done
um,
a 7-figure deal. I need to get on that level though. That's my next goal. I like it.
I haven't done a 7-figure deal either. Not yet, at least. The most we've done is, so like during the crypto market run, the crazy run that happened, we
Yeah.
realized for our brand, like for Clever Programmer, we were one of those people, the 10 million people, 10 million subscribers, but then they can't make any money. And we had the trouble of like, we had to do so much to make money because we realized that the people who wanted to be able to pay us didn't have the money to pay us.
Hmm.
Um, and so that was like a really annoying problem. But then we realized we could go to crypto companies and build coding projects that use their technologies within our videos that blow up.
Yeah.
And we
Oh
figured out
yeah.
this. And so
That
we
was
figured out crazy sponsorship deals, and we just had that one ethos, and we ended up closing like it was like 1.5 million in 3 months. Um,
crazy. Crazy. So
yeah.
I was one of those people that was doing influencer campaigns as well.
Oh, you were paying people, or were you one of the people they were paying to do influencer
They were
campaigns?
paying me and I was paying the influencers.
So smart. Okay, wow. So you were turning it into a fucking business. I was the monkey that was dancing.
Yeah, if I'd have known you back then, I would have linked you into the deals. Sorry about that.
Let's go. Yeah, I was actually eventually thinking of turning it into that, But then what I ended up doing was just like I made this one YouTube video that gave away literally every single one of my secret on how I did it, and literally including the proposal.
Oh, the
And
really long one? That really long video
I
that you
think,
have.
yeah, I have some long video on YouTube as well. Yeah, and then I like put like literally the sponsorship proposal that we were sending and closing, and so a bunch of those big developer channels just started watching that video, and now they all have those same deals, and they would call me, and I would just like tell them everything, and I'm like, this is how you do it. This is what you do. Um, and yeah, I just felt weird about. I mean, it wouldn't have hurt if I closed them as clients, but like I was also just happy that now that I'm done with it, I'm passing the baton on to the other people. Before you leave, I think a few things I want to touch on. So I know people always talk to you about social media stuff. These are some of these questions you get repeated on podcasts. I want to ask you about a few interesting things. So one of the things I want to just touch base on, and I don't know if you could talk about it publicly or not, you can tell me, but there's some mention of some software. Um, is that something you want to chat about? Because I think you might be excited to chat about it. I don't know if you can talk about it publicly or not.
Yeah, yeah, of course. No, I'm cool to talk about it. Yeah, so we basically, I mean, look, you're obviously in like the software world, right? And to be honest, what I've noticed, especially in the industry that I'm in, like historically, I've dealt a lot in the personal brand coaching space where people want to build a personal brand so that they can generate more clients, right? And I just see that it is getting harder and harder and harder for people to sell the things that they're looking to sell because more people are entering the market, right? And I
Yes.
have this belief that the industry as it is right now is just not going to stay the same. I think it's going to go in two totally polarizing directions. One
Hmm.
is like in-person events and in-person masterminds retreats. Like people really, really want that. And then on the other hand, it's software, right? And so as someone in the space who's supporting the industry, like I always want to be ahead. Like I constantly want to get ahead. And so I've just noticed that so much of it is just like unnecessary work, right? Like when you're speaking to a client, coaching them, etc. Like honestly, I really believe with AI it can be mainly automated. So
Yeah.
essentially what we're looking to do is like replace what we do with software. Like that's essentially the project that we have right now.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's like it's really fun and exciting because it's totally a new thing for us. And hey, I mean like, I know a lot of people try to do things like this, but I'm gonna make it happen because I actually don't think the industry how it runs right now over the long term, it's like that concept of if you don't get better, like the industry does, right? And so
Yes.
ultimately, yeah, that's what we're looking to do. And like I'm still super early stages with all of this,
Yeah.
honestly. And I'm definitely not like the software person. Like I'm definitely more on like the sales and marketing side. So it's kind of like I'm learning some stuff, but I don't think selling it's gonna be too much different than
No.
what I'm selling right now. It's more just like building the team, which thankfully like my business partner is taking care of.
Great. There you go. And I feel like you have so many skills like if you are the person who can make it rain. It's funny that as I'm saying that, it's literally raining out here in San Francisco. It's beautiful. I wish I could show the other side. It's so sick. But if you have that skill, you can put together the team. Even how you said, when you made the 600 grand, you're like, the fulfillment got better. How? Because you then put together the team. You have a business partner who can put together the team.
Totally.
Um, the hard part is like really selling it and really understanding the problem, which you understand the problem and frustration of your clients like inside out. Um,
100%.
and so I think that is phenomenal. Um, since I have you here, what I would like to do is a selfish question. So I have a personal goal, and I would just be interested to kind of get your insight on it. But for Poppy I am realizing that if we get more affiliates, the product will crush it. Like we'll just make way more money. And I feel like that's probably the single most important strategy we can take. Our goal is to get 1,000 affiliates in 90 days. Um, if you were in my position, what would you do, or what are things that come to your mind that could help me and my team accelerate that process?
Yeah, like I would flip it into like a biz op. So, for example, making content that shows how people are generating so much money through being affiliates of Poppy. That's what I would do. And then
Yes.
get people through content to come in and apply. But then I think the key thing with that type of campaign, like, so I had a background in like actually in influencer marketing and running campaigns and everything, and you really need to make sure they have like a clear training hub, or just give them everything, because you know how like
Yes.
affiliates and influencers are, right? Like you are one. Like in my past, I was doing these brand deals and stuff, and they just don't do it, right? Like, and so you
Yeah.
have to like walk them through it.
Hmm.
So I'd make sure that they have like a clear day by day like training hub. Post this, post that, do this, so that they
I
literally
love that.
cannot go wrong. Um, but I'd probably try and find these people who like have a super targeted audience, rather than like the mass influencers, because
Interesting.
I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. And then it's like you spend a ton of time trying to help people that are just never going to make any money for you. That would be my approach, honestly, for sure. And then like also though, there's a lot of big platforms like Commission Junction and things like that, whereby you could reach out to them and put your affiliate deal on those platforms, because then I think you can also pay for ads on there, whereby they'll promote
Mm,
your affiliate deal, I'm pretty sure.
wow.
And yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I also have a friend that owns this like massive affiliate connection company. I can just connect you directly to him. It's probably the fastest
Holy
thing.
crap. That would be insane. Because, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
we're realizing. I built this page and I wish I could screen share with you, but instead what I've done is I literally just linked it to you and you can open it anywhere. But like I built this page and yesterday, and I'm thinking to send affiliates to this page, and I'm
Hmm.
thinking to basically one of the ideas I had was, you know how you said like make content for affiliates, which I actually kind of thought about, but then I forgot about it. So like I think that's actually really smart. And the
Hmm.
other thing I think I can do is even run, like, have you ever seen people running ads? I feel like wouldn't that be couldn't that work, like running ads to this affiliate page to get to get influencers? Like, hey, if you have like 10K followers on TikTok and you've done anything or you're interested in AI, like here's how she made the $30,000 with one video, and then just
With
send them to this
ads,
page.
the thing is with ads, you can't run that stuff because it's like making income claims. Whereas on organic right now, they aren't cracking down
Oh,
on it. So I would like take advantage of the organic while you can. Um, you can run ads to like a case study, but it couldn't be about like, how I made all this money. The case study angle would more be like, yeah, when I first found Poppy, like I just knew that it was something that all of my customers could take advantage of. And so I signed up and I started recommending it to them, and my customers started getting such better results. It would be more like that,
oh,
right? It's
that.
less like, yeah.
Well, I really can't say on Facebook ads how she made $35,000.
No, because it's like it's called like a substantiated claim or something, where it's like basically
Really?
implying, it's like an implied claim, right? Like where
Wow.
it's implying that other people would make that much. If the client says like, if the client says like, yeah, I went from like, the okay, look, I'm not even gonna say it because the rules change all the time, and I don't
Uh
want you
huh.
to publish something that like in
No,
two
no, no, I
months is no longer
understand. I
relevant. So
understand. I understand.
just
I
check
understand.
the rules of Meta
Just
as
run
they
the
are
ad.
right now.
Yeah, or run the ad, and then if it gets rejected, you'll know.
No, because then they can shut you down. Don't do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I have
very
gotten
bad
so
idea.
many ads shut down, and I've never gotten shut down yet, at least.
Yeah, don't say that because like I was shut down for years. That's why I got so good at organic. Between like I think it was 2018 and 2022, I was shut down. That's why I had to get good at organic. Yeah.
Wow. Fascinating.
Because I didn't
Um,
know you couldn't run before and after photos, and I was in fitness before.
damn. Amazing. I have so many other questions, but I know you have to go, so I'm going to end it right here.
Okay.
But thank you so much for hopping on. This was amazing. I would love to do a
Yeah.
part two. Okay.
Hell yeah. I'm always down. This was fun. We could nerd out for like days, and I have so many questions for you about software.
Oh, that's amazing.